Morning, my loves. How are we all? Are we well? Lovely to see you all this morning. Sort of, on the, yeah, quite. I hope you had a nice day off yesterday. Hope you all rested up, had a lovely day, and did it feel like the same as any other day? I know. Oh, hello, what's that? Oh, hello. Someone's started to introduce themselves on my thing. Let me just get up to speed with you all, so we're all together. Oh, let's do, oh my goodness me, no, let's get rid of that. Actually, let's start all that again. How are we? Now, thank you very much. I've just been following the live chat. Talking about haring people. Brilliant. I love the chat. Right, give me 1 second and I'll get up to speed. Here we go. I was all set to go and then it suddenly had a bit of a peculiar moment. My loves, you're back. Don't forget to subscribe. Every time I join this here, it says subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed and this is your first time, thank you very much for joining us here on our Monday morning Ask Anton any questions that you want. Mondays we always ask questions, and anything technical, anything you want to know, just ask me. And so if this is your first time and you haven't already subscribed, press that red button that says subscribe, and that would be marvellous. Yeah, I know it's supposed to, I'm probably supposed to tell you why, the benefits of it right now. Fine, maybe we'll come back to that. I've absolutely no idea. I just know you're supposed to. Oh, hello, Elaine from the Netherlands. Morning, I don't know any Dutch. Hello to everybody. Victoria, Michelle, Lara, Guten Morgen, Alicia. That's a new name, I think. Morning, my darling. Amy, lovely, Lauren, AJ, Roy and Barbara, Claire, everybody. Lee from Arizona. This must be a bit of night for you over there. Elizabeth, hello, Maxine. Right, let's get on with the questions. Now, I'm buffering this end. Tell me I'm not buffering your end. It might be just me. Seems to be having a nasty incident this morning already. One other thing before we start. It is a birthday. It's my birthday. Mr. Mouse Cake Lady. Happy birthday, my love. I hope you have a great day. Well, it's Mr. Mouse and Cake Lady. Well, I hope you both have a lovely day. Gorgeous. Right, now then. Let me know if my connection's gone a bit funny. Oh no, it seems to be good. Ireland. Helen. Morning. Top of the morning. Terrible. I said Irish, not Welsh. Elizabeth, fine here. Good. Thank you very much. You're not buffering. Beautiful. You're all marvellous. Thank you very much. Right. Let's crack straight on. Now, first one. Here we go. Nick wants to know. Nick sentence. He wants to know. My dance teacher used to get frustrated with me. Join the club, my love. My teachers didn't get frustrated with me. Can you explain the difference between CBM and CBMP? All technical questions straight out of the blocks. Now, CBM, I'll explain it to everybody. CBM is contra-body movement and CBMP means contra-body movement position. And very simply, CBM relates to the body. It's to do with the turn of the body in relation to the feet. And CBMP refers to the feet in relation to the body. So essentially, CBMP is what we talk about more often than CBM, because the CBMP means your contra body, so your foot is contra to your body. So what that means is rather than walking on a straight line, just in a straight line like side by side, you're actually going to take a foot, I'd use my right foot for example, and I'm going to put it across the path of my other foot. So now I'm in contra, so I've got a leading right foot, but now in relation to the other foot, this is with a body with no turn, my left shoulder would be leading. You can see I have this position here. This is contra body movement position, so it's related to the feet. Contra body movement is related to the body, so if my foot steps straight and my body turns, I have opposing sides meeting together. So that's very, very sort of loosely, well not loosely, it's massively accurate actually, very quickly I was going to say, the difference between the two. One relates to the foot, which is position, and one relates to the body, which is just CBM. Give you an example of a step. CBM you'd use a lot in pivots and spins. So as you step forward in a sort of straight, you'd rotate the body strongly towards your right leg. If you're stepping forward with your right leg, so the left side would be strongly in forward of the of the right side. And you use CBMP a lot. So for example, in Foxtrot, when I'm stepping outside partner, for example, the third step for a man, I step across my path outside partner, is invariably where you'd use CBMP when you're stepping outside partner. And you'll be stepping outside partner a lot in ballroom dancing. So that's a ballroom dancing question as opposed to a Latin American question. So here we go, what we're doing here. I hope that's okay for you there, Nick. Up you come, my love. I've got a question here about arms from, and it's not coming up just yet, but it says there arm positions and rumba steps. Let's come back to that one, see if that one come up in a minute. Here we go. And I will answer the question about arms then. I just want to see who it's from before I... Let's get rid of that and start that again. Here we go. And there. Arm positions and rumba. Well, whereas all the steps in dancing, ballroom and Latin and ballet and all these different, have all been written down, the arm positions, apart from ballet where they have very particular arm positions that you go through, in certainly Latin, ballroom, the positions of the arms are held, but in Latin, the arms are free. They tried to write a technique for arms years ago, when they started to standardise the technique of the feet, but it became sort of a nonsense really, and the language was sort of, because you're sort of articulating the arm out there like that, and the hand finishes here, and it's all sort of became a nonsense. We understand right foot forward, left foot back, step to the side with the right foot. That's very simple. This sort of thing, you start to rotate the shoulder as the arm. Well, it became a nonsense. And of course, what happens with the arm now, what has happened with the arms forever really, is that a sort of an arm will become not fashionable, but sort of the set arm for a step. For example, if I do a New York, I do it towards you here in rumba or cha-cha. The arm, the free arm, will go out to the side. Now, you can put it out to the side, you can put it up in the air, you can put it on your hip if you so wish. So it sort of becomes standardised through sort of years of doing it here. But really, it's artistic interpretation, really. What you might want to push, because it's all about intention. The arms are about intention and expression, really, how you're trying to express the step. So that really, the arms are up to you. What I would do with the arms, though, if I were you, is I'd make sure you have, the most important thing about arms is that you have an intention in the arm. So I'm just trying to understand what you're trying to do. Look in the mirror and see what you think, because you might feel something, look in the mirror and go, oh, it looks a bit peculiar. It looks like a broken wing or something. So just work the arms in the mirror. So you can do some sort of twisting thing, you can put them up, crash into the ceiling, you can do things. And for the ladies, you have all this sort of stuff where you can just sort of, touch yourself. And all that. So it's actually, the ladies' arms are really, really three-dimensional. You can really sort of, and you just do what works for you, what makes it look attractive for you, and that's your personal expression. There you are, that's arms. This question won't come up, which is slightly irritating, so I'm going to go on to these questions here and see if these ones come up. Here we go. Lee, hello my love. I think that was from Maxine, that question. Let me know if that was from you, my love. Morning, Saffron. So, gorgeous shirt. Thanks, Ted. Lee says about bronze, silver and gold level figures in the different dances. What he's talking about really there is syllabus figures. Essentially, well, when I did my medals about 1,000 years ago, I went through the bronze, silver, gold, etc. And it depends which society you belong to, they have their own sort of system. So, but essentially gold, bronze, silver, gold, and then it goes up from there. But bronze is essentially a restricted syllabus, just basic figures. Forward, side, together for the waltz, forward, back, side, together, cha-cha-cha, step, step, cha-cha-cha, step, step, cha-cha. Basic figures here, because you're working on technique and one thing or another, timing and footwork and stuff. When you start to go into silver, then you have more figures introduced, and in gold you have more figures introduced, and then as you go on from there, more figures introduced to the point where you'll sort of have an open syllabus and you can do any figure you wish to do. And then rather than talking about your technique based on heels, toes together, timing, you're starting to talk about quality of other things like movement, the way you use your legs, the way you use your hips, the way you use the body, all these things here. So choreography becomes your vehicle for expression, and that's when you started going up through the middle, through the exams. But at the beginning, it's a restricted syllabus because there's no point in a bronze, for example, if I'm doing a waltz and I do a four-way slip pivot here, like this, in a bronze medal, because that's ridiculously difficult technically to do. So you'll never learn. It's much easier to do this, much better to do this. And then you build, you see. This is the whole point of the exams, is that you build your technique, essentially. That's the point of it. And your skill, and then you go on from there. As everyone's doing Z levels. And we'll start demonstrating a bit more of that as we go along. I struggled, says Lauren, with the bouncy action in Jive whilst doing classes, for example. Or doing chassis, for example, sorry, my point. Well, it's a feat, you see. You don't put lower your heel. You go and 1 and 2 and 2 and 2. And I always feel the Jive does this. It sort of has this sort of swing action. It's not a low swing like you would do sort of East Coast or West Coast swing. It's all sort of down and swinging, a yum, bum, beat, but it's sort of kind of cool, and it's all that. This is the Jive, so it has a bounce to it, but it still has that sort of swing to it, and it's the hip that goes out. And as I do that, I go onto my toes. So I go up and 1 and 2 and 2 and 2 and back, step. So the feet are very, very important in dancing. This is why we go through our middle system when, if you take exams and if you want to go through that, that's fine. That's the way it was designed, to build up the quality from the ground up. And you and 1 and 2 and 2 and 2. So it's that count. And that's the key, really, is getting the count right, but being strong in your technique through your feet and being light on it. So you don't accent down all the time. You accent a yum, ba bum, a ya, di down. When you're doing things like a kick will change, a kick will change. Now you'll notice there, as I do the kick, I'm really concerned with the coming in as opposed to the going out. As they would say on Strictly, Craig talks about it relentlessly, the retraction of the step. So it's that, yeah. And as I do it, I go, yeah. And it's that sort of feeling of pulling it in. What I don't want to do is hit the out. I don't go here, 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 ba. I want to go, yeah, 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 yeah. So it's this bit that's the important part in Jive. And you can see just in that small example there, the difference. One is sort of heavy and down, and one is a bit lighter and brighter. All right, Lauren, Alan PW, does the American Smooth incorporate Foxtrot routines in them, or are they separate dances? They're separate dances. American Smooth, basically, for me, is, I always think of American Smooth as Fred and Ginger, really. It's just an open style of dance, really. On Strictly Come Dancing, we have this rule in American Smooth that you can have 3 lifts, for example, firstly. In sort of proper American Smooth or open American Smooth, you can do as many lifts as you like, essentially. And we have to be in hold for a certain amount of time in the dance. But the truth is, it's a very free and open style dance. We do it to different rhythms. So American Smooth you can do to foxtrot, waltz, tango, American Smooth rhythms, and it's absolutely wonderful. And if you go on YouTube and you put in American Smooth and see some of the guys, certainly in America, because that's where that sort of number was invented. There's all these things in competition world. It's all developed into something else, and it's become a whole massive thing, and it's incredible the things that everyone's doing. But if you go back a little bit and see it sort of when it was sort of invented, you'll see a sort of a style about it that was a little bit more subtle. And as I say, my feeling about American Smooth is always Fred and Ginge. I invariably always do it to a Foxtrot rhythm, 4/4 count of that tempo, because it's sort of that style for me. Or I like to do it a bit jazzy. I like that sort of jazz sort of feel to American Smooth as well. So that's really the American Smooth there. It's a separate dance, but dance to any rhythm. I personally always use Foxtrot as my rhythm, and it's quite a popular thing to do on Strictly Come Dancing as well. Most people do, because that's sort of where it began, but you can use any rhythm. People are using new rhythms now on Strictly Come Dancing. Somebody did an American Smooth Viennese Waltz, I think, last year. No, controversial, not really. Bonjour Marion. Bonjour, ça va bien? I know. Can you explain the difference between American Smooth and Foxtrot, please? I do not understand. Well, it's just what I said there, actually. They're two separate dances. The Foxtrot remains in hold, and it's a standardised ballroom dance. And American Smooth is just an open dance we can do to any rhythm, in actual fact. But we use Foxtrot rhythm a lot because that sort of gives the style that we sort of see in our sort of mind's eye about the American Smooth. And I think, as I said before, the influence really is Fred and Ginger. And the Charleston, upper body remains fairly straight or lean a little forward. Merci. You're welcome. I know, apologies. Again, the upper body, it is up. It depends what your styling is, really, with the upper body. In the 20s, it was all quite, when was it that Charleston came over? 1920. It was quite straight, and the knees were sort of together, and we were Charleston, but it all becomes a little bit sort of ya da, and it all gets a bit ya di da, and it all gets a bit lower, and the legs are starting to get out a little bit, so the Charleston is coming from the hip. Again, this is a bit like we were talking about earlier, things develop over time, because everyone wants to go a bit bigger, be a bit more expressive. And so you can do what you like, really, with the body, as long as you keep your knees bent, your weight on your toes, and you get the swivel in. You can just sort of here is a little bit sort of, can be conceived as a bit tweak, maybe. Here, it gets a little bit more, a bit edgier, you see. And then you sort of get into the hip hop style of, which I'm not going to demonstrate right now, never in the time, of Charleston. And look at a lot of the hip hop that's being danced today. It's all Charleston influenced, really. And they do a lot of Charleston going backwards, and then they style it differently with the upper body and get a bit lower. Very nearly did it then, and that could have been an error. And so really, it's all about the body position that styles everything. And when I'm watching sort of new styles of dance, whether it's contemporary, whether it's commercial and hip hop and things like that, you sort of look what it's based on. I do it because if I'm trying to dance it, I have to try and find something I can pick up on. And invariably it's jazz or Charleston. So everyone's taking from what's gone before, and it's brilliant. I must say, it's absolutely brilliant, and I love it. I love it. Right, here we go. Let's have a look. Elizabeth. The problem is with asking Anton, the time crashes on. Can we do the girl steps in the weave in waltz, please, Anton? It's, I'll tell you what, Elizabeth, can I come back to that, please? When we do waltz next, I'm going to introduce that step into the choreography that we've done, because I'll do both steps. Yes, if that's all right with you. Apologies about that, but I'd like to do that because of both steps. Any advice, asks Amy, about being lighter on my feet and holding my frame? I'm naturally quite heavy-footed. Amy, I'm sure you're not. And even though I'm okay at Latin, I struggle to let elegant in ballroom. Thank you very much. I'll say that about yourself. Well, again, one can be a bit heavy if one plonks a bit. 1, 2, 3, 1. So the key really to that, the frame is just got to be held. You've got to pick up your body line. That's a physical thing. You just pick up your body, roll your shoulders. Remember we talked about rolling shoulders, and then just hold them there. Pick your arms up from your elbows, not from your shoulders. Do it from here. So the arms go up from the elbows here. You just create a nice line through there, just a gentle curve here. Your head is an extension of your spine, so wherever your spine goes, the head follows the natural line, but you don't do something peculiar like this, otherwise you get a funny head lip position. All of that. And the key really is to not plonk onto the back foot, is to bend the leg you're standing on, we call that the standing leg, and then move from it. So we go bend and up. Does that make sense? So I go bend and up. So I do, if you can imagine, I'm doing walks now, but it's the same principle for all the ballroom dances. I go down, and as I go along and start to go up, depending on what variation I'm doing next. What I don't do is I don't go down and along at the same time, otherwise I do this. So if you can see that sort of direction through my hand, I don't want to go plonk into the back foot, so I must go a bit of bend and a bit of movement. And the more I can do this, the lighter I become. This action here, years ago, this action here for the lady, this rolling backwards through the feet, I'll just show you that again. So as the foot goes backwards, the front heel comes off the floor. Did you see that? The front toe comes off the floor. The back heel doesn't go down until the front foot passes. Did you see that? I'll show you that again. So the back foot goes to there, onto the toe, and as my front toe releases, my back heel starts though, but doesn't hit the ground until this one passes. And then I repeat the process. That really, for a lady dancer, is the life's work right there. Perfecting that quality of movement, that smooth. And when you do that, if I couldn't see your legs, if I couldn't see you from the knees down, I would just see you gliding across the floor like the swan. Across there, elegant and amazing. And everybody would go, that's the one for me, thank you very much. Beautiful. Just across. And that's really the skill of the lady dance. If you ask me what's the most important thing for the lady dancer, that really, once you can do that quality well, you can move and hold a fabulous posture, oof, the rest is gravy, as they say. Now, so have a look at that, my love. Make sure you're not plonking into the back foot. It's very, very difficult. It takes a long time, but it's a wonderful thing to be able to achieve. And more difficult for the ladies because they've got the heel on. For me, it's a piece of cake on flat tees. Aim, that's you. Lauren, any tips on to use arms without looking or feeling awkward? For example, crisscross vaulters, fans and hockey sticks. Well, as we discussed before, really, with the arms, there isn't a set technique. My advice to you is to go in front of the mirror and just your arms, but use them in a simple way. So the ballet sort of arm is sort of quite simple here. It just goes through centre all the time, up and out and here and there. So go use that as a sort of a guide, if you like, and just use it. But in the ballroom mode, we have a lot more articulation, or the Latin mode, through the arms, and just start to place a hand on a hip, place a hand on the body, place a hand on the back of the head, place a hand. When you're in fan, you can do something from here where you just let the elbow go here, and then you close it and bring it across yourself. 1 and 2, and in you go. So you can just. It only feels and looks awkward when it has no reason or intention. So if I'm just stood there and I do fan and I start wafting my arm about all over the place, it looks like you're having a peculiar moment to yourself. So my suggestion is slightly less is more, first of all, here, and just incorporate it with what you're doing. Here. Just gently let the arm move, and if you're doing in cha-cha-cha, then you can, sort of place the arm across yourself. But that is your expression, really, however you feel it. But don't, go like a lunatic, otherwise you will feel a bit odd. Lauren, I feel like I've thrown my free arm out in an ugly way and cringe. I feel quite exposed that my teacher always telling me to Commit to it. Well, they're right, really. You've got to commit to it. But doing more isn't it, really. Sometimes doing less is more. There you are, being profound. Now, how are we doing for time? Right, Amber, this is unbelievable. We're cracking on, but we did so little time. Amber, that was a question about fitness. I will, and in Welsh, that's tremendous. I'll come back to that one if that's all right with you. The beloved, says AJ, is leaning over me in Latin, oh, especially in cha-cha. You're getting all intimate, aren't you, my love? That's what he's doing. He's getting all, ooh, I'm loving this. We're getting a bit, ooh. You have to stand up. What you have to have is good posture. And everything else moves from the waist down. Ya, di, da, and rum, bum, bum. Then you can start to articulate through the upper body and through the back, and you can start to shift your shoulders from side to side and things like that. But you can't lean on the girl. Never lean on your partner. Never dance down to your partner. You have to imagine you're dancing with a slightly taller lady and you go, oh, hello, or a taller partner. All right. This is one of my problems, actually, if I was to admit to you this, that I had a problem. Unbelievable. Honestly, come last thing, I have been, some of the other pros say to me, well, if I ask them, I say, did I stand up? And I dance down to my partner too much. So I'm dancing down here. I mean, you can understand why, because I'm sort of worried they're going to go a bit wrong. And so I end up dancing down to them like a teacher would. You ready? Cha-cha-cha. Step, step. Yes, good, good. Nearly. That was, all right, okay, you do your step then. That's good. So I'm dancing down here. This is terrible. So although I'm dancing with them as their teacher, but I'm still their partner, so I'm still dancing myself. Dancing, somebody asked about dancing your own height as well, we'll come back to that. I'm still got to be dancing myself, because the more I do, the more confident they feel about what they're trying to do. So, beloved, upright. She doesn't need you on top of her. Sorrento, Charleston, this is your practice. Swivel, 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 swivel. This is your practice. Just practice this, all right? And then you can go 1. Just practice it, bits and bits and bits and bits. So just do it slowly. That's all there is, I'm afraid. Repetition, repetition, repetition. She's 8. Oh, this is lovely. Alison, my daughter is 8 and she's trying to learn the jive. Well, just to, pick up one of the videos on Jive that we did, certainly one of the early ones, and she can go ya, beep, ba, ya, beep, ba, back, replace. And this is the beginnings of Jive, because you'll find, as we found over the weeks of doing Jive, that a lot of the variations that we do is based on this little step here. Ari-da-da, yum, bum, the Jive chassé. So learn that, and you're away. Once you've done that, the world's your oyster. I'm loving this, 8 years old. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Oh yes, Alan. Would L-O-V-E by Nat King Cole be danced as American Smooth? L is for the way you look at me. O is for the very one I see. Yes, beautiful. L is for the way you look at me. Hey, V is for the very one I see. So yes, beautiful, lovely, and that's a Foxtrot rhythm essentially. So it's come back to what we were talking about earlier. Lovely, gorgeous. I'd even do it on myself. I probably have actually. Lovely, lovely, lovely. What we do? Oh, this is going to have to be the last one. Rebecca asks, if you could recreate a dance routine from the movies with anyone from the past, which one would you choose? Well, that's a lovely one to finish on. My favourite movie really is a movie called The Bandwagon with Fred Astaire, no surprise, and Sid Charisse. And they did a number called Dancing in the Dark, or certainly 2 Dancing in the Dark, where they danced in the park. And they finished on a carriage. And they just sort of start the whole thing walking through the park like this. Not in hand, just walking side by side. He was wearing normal clothes, she was wearing a sort of floaty dress and flats. And they're just having a little walk, and then suddenly, ra-di-da, they go into this number. I still think it's one of my favourite numbers of all time, ever. I love it. I think it's the most beautiful thing ever. I love it. I love Fred Astaire dancing with Sid Charisse. That's one of my favourite things in the world as well. And I just think it's sort of the perfect number. So that would be the one I'd like to reproduce. I've had the opportunity to have done it, not with Sid Charisse, sadly, but I did it at the, I'm going to show off now, London Palladium. It was a gala day, and I danced with a terrific young lady called Charlotte Gooch. It feels like 1,000 years ago now. And we sort of, it was the Fred Astaire Day, actually tribute day. And we lifted that and we did that. And it was one of my favourite things ever. So that would be one of the things I'd, thank you very much, Frankie. I'd really love to have been able to do with Sid Charisse. Oh, don't even start me off. Gillian, you're a beauty. Thank you very much indeed. I don't think we did all the questions. There's so many questions. This is brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. I love Mondays. Ask Anton. That's me. So anything else, keep firing them in. And we'll, every day, I think we might even just do a question if we missed out any. But thank you very much indeed. If you're around at 3 o'clock and you want to join me for today's session, it's going to be a bit of a sweaty one, I think. I look forward to seeing you then. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. And thank you very much indeed. Much love. Stay safe. Sun's out. Much love.